or Goldfinger.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I've got my new friend Jeff here, and we ran into each other the other day, and he's from Utah, which I've said it on my show many times. I lived in Utah for 15 years, and if I ever moved back to America for any reason, I would live in Utah. It's just, I think it's one of the most beautiful states, and I've always loved the Southwest. So you grew up in Utah, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
born and raised.
Yeah. What was your childhood like there, going to school and everything?
Yeah, well, Salt Lake wasn't so big. It was a lot of open area around, and so growing up was kind of nice because, you know, teenager, even preteen, had motorcycles. You could go up
Yeah.
the abandoned gravel pits and ride around and stuff. Had a lot of good time.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff to do out there if you're a kid, like fishing and, you know, hiking and everything. Great places to ride motorcycles. Last time I was out there, I went paramotoring, you know, where they've got the parachute and the motor on the back, and guy had a little cart and he flew me around, and man, I love that. If I ever went back to Utah, that's one thing I would definitely get into, because it's the best place in the world for paramotoring.
Oh yeah,
It's gotten really big out there.
I was a little too adventurous for that. I had windsurfers. I did a lot of those. I did those for quite a while.
We had windsurfers on the ship, and well, one ship I worked on, they had windsurfers, and we had a sports platform in the back of the ship, and these people, they'd get on the windsurfer, and they'd go off, and they'd get to the horizon, the ocean, they'd tip over. And we'd have to go take a Zodiac out there and get them, because they could never get it back up. Cool. So you had mentioned to me before, you've been on a lot of cruises yourself, huh?
Yeah, I think over 60.
60?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cruises. Now, most of those were by yourself, or did you go with somebody, or?
Well, I started in about 2011, took my 10-year-old daughter on a cruise, and then liked it so much I just kept doing it every year, a little bit more every year. So.
Wow.
And then you know, got up just before COVID. I was doing 5 or 6 a year.
No kidding.
And then COVID hit, and I kind of stopped that. And then when they opened it back up, I went on 9 months of cruises. So.
9 months of cruises. Wow. Do you have a favorite cruise line?
NCL.
Yeah, NCL. Okay. Yeah, they got the what do they call it? Freestyle cruising, freestyle dining.
Cruising.
Yeah.
And they also have the a solo coordinator. So if you're by yourself, you usually have a group of people you can enjoy the cruise with. You meet new people, so it kind of makes it nice.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of NCL ships. I think I was on the Dawn, and the owner of NCL at the time, if I remember, it was some billionaire from South Korea or someplace, and he had this incredible art collection. And in the one of the dining rooms, they're not dining rooms, they're restaurants. You have all these different restaurants to choose from, and in one of these restaurants, I think it was the Italian restaurant, on the wall, and it wasn't a big restaurant. He had a Picasso, a Moreau, a Van Gogh. There was like 7 or 8 paintings, you know, original paintings worth, you know, one of them could have been worth $100 million.
Yeah.
But he was very clever. What he did, though, he always had them on the flagship, whatever the newest ship was, and he would depreciate them, you know, so it's a depreciating asset, but he kept his art collection on the ship.
Yeah, actually the Dawn, I think, is a very old ship nowadays.
Yeah, that's a very old ship now, yeah. Well, I worked on the Norway.
That's not even around, I don't think.
Yeah, that was way back in the day. That was one of the first ships, like the second ship I worked on, the second cruise line, used to be the SS France. Yeah. And that was a steamship, you know. Yeah. She was something else.
Yeah, I think the first cruise I went on was the NCL on the Star, and then I think it was 6 months later I went on the Epic, which at the time was the 3rd largest, and now it's like the 15th largest. I mean, ships are so big. They're gigantic. 6,000 passengers and more now.
So back in Utah, you said you were a contractor?
Yeah.
Built houses?
Yeah. At the end, I was. I had everything but an electrical contractor's license. I had general contractors, general engineering, plumbing contractors. Started out as a plumber.
How did you learn all that stuff? Did you have to go to school for that, or did you just pick it up on the job, or?
No, at high school I was working. Well, in high school I was working for a plumbing outfit that did excavation, and so they had me come in on the weekends, grease the backhoes, and do repairs and sort fittings and stuff. And after I graduated, I was going to join the Marines, and when they wouldn't give me what I wanted because I was colorblind. So so I didn't join.
So that means you can see yellow, right?
I'm red. What is it called? Red-green colorblind. I can see yellow. I can see. I mean, most people with colorblind can see colors.
Yeah.
They just don't see them the same.
That's why all your emergency signs are in yellow, because even the colorblind people can see yellow.
Oh, is that?
What about those glasses? I see these YouTube videos. Put these glasses on.
I want to try them
Looks
out so
amazing.
bad. I want to try it out so much because I want to see what.
Well, you could
it should
afford
look
that.
like.
I mean, they're on a couple $100. You should get some.
I have never seen them before.
Go on Amazon.
Oh, are they have on Amazon?
Yeah, they're on Amazon.
I know
Yeah.
you have to buy them for the type of colorblindness you are.
Well, you go to an eye doctor. You can see an eye doctor here in Dumaguete for $10.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've already
Go
been
in
there.
there, and they'll recommend, whatever ones, You should do that.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I've seen, I don't know, the videos I've seen, they all look genuine, but they put these glasses on, they have like balloons and stuff and all these color things, and you actually start crying because it's just such an emotional thing for them to see color for the first time.
Yeah, I saw that a few years ago. I just thought about it, kind of forgot about it until you
Yeah,
started mentioning it.
I would do that for sure, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're, like we talked about, Utah's a great place. You're a very successful man. You've been in Utah your whole life. So when did it all of a sudden get into your mind to say, hey, I'm going to leave my state and leave my country?
I wouldn't call
And
myself very
come to the-
successful.
Well,
I'm
a
okay.
guy that's built a neighborhood, I consider that very successful.
Well, that's just because I just work hard. But,
You're just humble, that's all. But
I think it was getting in the. You have the American dream, You go to work, you get a paycheck every week, and you spend that money, every week. For every month you have so much and you spend it.
Right.
Because you make your payments add up to that.
right.
And so you never come out ahead. You have a bunch of toys. And I guess I got tired of having the toys. That's when I said something's got to change. So that's when I went back and got an engineering degree in my 30s. Then
What kind of engineering degree?
mechanical engineer.
Well, that's a hard degree to get.
Math was easy for me, so it wasn't too bad. So. But then I worked for worked for steel mill for 5 years. Didn't like it. So when the steel mill went under, they gave me a nice, severance pay. And so I tried project management in construction. Didn't like it. And then I just got to where I just said, hey, I don't care how much money I make, as long as I have food in my belly, a roof over my head, I'll be happy. I'm going to start my own business. And I think that's when everything changed.
Be your own boss.
Bought a backhoe and just started doing that.
But you were successful at that, and you had, obviously, sounds like you had a good life.
I have a dream life.
Dream life, you're a healthy guy, And you mind me telling me how old you are?
66.
66.
67 in August.
Yeah, I'm 68. So, you're still, got your health, a young man. You just bought yourself a really cool Suzuki motorcycle. But what was it that made you decide to, it's a radical change to just give up on America and move here.
I think it was that first cruise I took. I took my daughter on a cruise and stopped in Puerto Vallarta, and I thought, man, this is wonderful down here. I like it. So I did a couple more cruises. Saw more about Puerto Vallarta. I kept doing that same cruise, and just started thinking, hey, I could live down here. Started looking up things, and I just more and more I read about stuff and about retiring overseas. I just didn't want to be in the cold anymore. So I had a big list of all kinds of countries I wanted to see, and so I take the cruises. I'd find a cruise.
It's a great way, yeah.
Yeah, and it give you that first initial
little taste of all these different countries, yeah.
So all over the place, and there was 3 of them that I came to think that I wanted to say. One of them I never went to until, which was the Philippines.
Yeah, because very few ships come here.
That's the problem.
I was surprised. I looked up a few weeks ago, and they said that there was 127 cruise ships coming to the Philippines this year, and they're just passing through on their ways to other places, like Thailand or wherever.
You don't stop and get on and off it here.
Yeah, there's
no
no cruises that started, as far as I know of. Yeah. I think it could be done, but they need better infrastructure. So, so you lived in Mexico. I lived in Mexico in Cancun for about 2 years, and loved it down there. But it's if you don't speak the language, it can be a problem down in Mexico. And also, there was a lot more crime down there. You had to be, kind of be cautious where you went and what you did when I was down there. Unlike here, I find it very safe here.
The biggest thing is don't deal with drugs, illegal drugs, because if you do that, you're probably going to get your head cut off.
Right.
So you just.
And usually the cartels leave the tourists alone for the most
Puerto
part.
Vallarta is one of the safest areas.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I've been there many times. Yeah. And so, how long were you there?
I dated a woman down there right after, I think like a couple years after the first cruise going down there. And, went on a few cruises with her and stuff, and so I was on back and forth a lot. And when that relationship ended, I just kept going down there. But I think. When was it? When COVID first came in, I decided I just need to get out of the United States and went down to Mexico. Because Mexico was still open. Everything else closed
Yeah, I know.
up.
Mexico stayed open. What was it like in Utah during COVID? Like I know some states like Florida where they stayed open. What was it like in Utah?
Well, that time I was in Carbon County, so you didn't really notice it. There wasn't really much. They
were making you wear masks or forcing vaccinations. And
yeah, I remember when it first started. They would let me in the grocery store an hour before anybody else, because if you're over 60, you could go in the grocery store early.
Oh, that's nice.
Before everything was off the shelves.
Yeah.
Because it was crazy. So that's about all I remember about that. But.
Now, when you came into, you just been in the Philippines for a few weeks, right?
Me?
Yeah. How long?
I've been here since August.
Oh, since August? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a long time. Okay, so when you came here, what are the requirements that they wanted from you to get into the Philippines? You'd have to prove vaccination or COVID test or anything like that?
Yeah, you had to prove that you had. You didn't have the COVID test. You just had to have the vaccination. I think they just. Yeah, because I didn't get a COVID test, just a vaccination card.
You didn't have to go online. So you used to have this thing. You went online and had to fill out.
Yeah, you have to do that.
You still have to do that still, huh?
Yeah. I think you even have to do that now.
Probably, yeah. That was a pain. It's probably not going to go away. So, you're in Mexico. Did you decide while you were in Mexico to come to the Philippines, or did you go back to America?
Well, there was 3 countries. It was the Philippines, Panama, and Mexico that I wanted to check out. Mm-hmm. And I was in Mexico, and I've been to a few other places in Mexico. Nice, but I wanted to see another. So I went to Panama. Because when they first opened it up, COVID was. When was that? I think it opened it up and let you in a little sooner than anybody else. So I took a relocation tour for a week that drove clear across Panama.
Oh, nice.
And really liked it. And they got such a good retirement visa there. If you retire, they give you all kinds of discounts.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, a lot of Americans living there.
But the problem was the language a lot worse. You had to know Spanish, unless you wanted to just.
Isn't the humidity really high? Because I've been to Panama, and I always found it very humid and hot down there.
I know from the Philippines to Mexico to Panama, the only difference I see is Mexico's a little hotter. Mexico kind of has more of a change. It's really nice in the winter, really hot in the summer. But I went to Panama and then went back to Mexico and gave up on the Philippines because of COVID. Thought that I was going to stay there, so I bought a condo down there, a pre-sale. And it wasn't going to be done for 2 years, so 2 months after I bought it, I got 2 years to wait. So they opened up the cruises again, so that's when I started my 9-month cruise, time.
And so you came here in August of. Did you, when you came here, did you decide you were going to? Did you come with the intention of staying here, or just to check it out?
Yeah, I'd read all about Philippines, and one thing it had was that it spoke English. So
yeah.
That was it for me.
For me too. That was a big plus.
I went to Cebu when I first got here, for Cebu City for a couple of weeks. A little too big a city, but man, I really just liked the area, liked the people. So took a trip to Tacloban, Leyte. It wasn't really my kind of place. I thought, well, God, maybe it's not my place. So then I hear all this stuff about Dumaguete, so I came here. Had a friend that I met, online that showed me around Dumaguete.
How long have you been in Dumaguete?
I got here on the 20th of August.
Okay, so a while, huh?
Yeah. I went. I was here maybe 3 or 4 weeks. After 2 or 3 trips on a trike. That was it for that. So I went down and bought a scooter. So.
It's not a scooter. You had a big motorcycle, didn't you? Or you have both?
No, I bought a ADV 150.
Oh, so you got 2 bikes?
Yeah.
Oh, which one do you ride the most?
Oh, the Suzuki now.
The Suzuki?
ADV, yeah. Well, you know, I guess if I need to go to the grocery store, I want to get a lot of stuff. The ADV holds more. I got the top box on both of them.
Yeah, that's what's nice about those. You got the box in the back and underneath the seat. Yeah.
But now it's like, I thought I would just keep the ADV because it's so simple. You just twist and go.
Yeah,
No
so
shifting
easy to
gears
drive.
or anything. And so I thought but I hardly ever ride it now. I probably rent it out now.
You think you'll buy a car?
Maybe when I come back. I'm leaving to go back to the States in August for a while.
How long do you think you'll stay there?
I got 4 months of cruises booked.
4 months? Wow.
I got a couple weeks in there where I'm visiting my daughter, and then I've got and then maybe a couple other weeks in between where I'm going to check out what's happening with my condo in Puerto Vallarta. The problem is the government shut them down in March because they didn't have the environmental protection, environmental study, I guess. So there was 20 developments in Puerto Vallarta that they shut down.
Oh gosh.
So they haven't letting them start up again. So I don't know when it's going to get done. It was scheduled to be done, about this time.
So what are you going to do when it is finished? Are you going to move back there or what?
No, I might use it as like a place to take vacations, but I'm going to stay here. But it's just, it's going to be more income generating because the thing is just a studio rents out for $1,500 to $2,000 a month, depending on what time of year. So I got a 3-bedroom. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it sounds like even though you're settled here in the Philippines, so you're going to be traveling, around the world like for foreseeable future.
Cruising is in my future. I mean,
I'm really jealous of you getting to go on ships because I'd still be out there, but I hadn't had heart trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think the cruises are going to start here, not from the Philippines, but from places like Singapore and Hong Kong.
Yeah, there's a Royal Caribbean ship sailing out of Singapore. They actually had a 4-day cruise to Thailand. It's like 2 days in Thailand and 2 days at sea.
Yeah.
And inside cabin, they had a deal $195 a person.
Yeah.
You go, wow, that's incredible, So I said, well, we'll do that, in a couple of months, get some friends together. But last time I checked, it jumped up and down. It's like 2,000.
Yeah, you have to jump on them when they hit. Like the cruise I'm taking it's in October, what scares me. It's an Alaska cruise in October, but it goes from Vancouver to Anchorage, 7 days, and then there's another cruise, Anchorage to Vancouver. They're advertised at $279. By the time you add everything together, with the port charges and everything, it's what, $600-700. But NCL has this thing called Cruise Next, where you get them while you're on the cruise, and every time I'm on a cruise, I buy a lot of them. They're $125 each, but they're worth $250 towards a future cruise. So I had a bunch of those I wanted to get used up, and that's why I'm going. So these cruises that were, I can't remember what the total was, but it seems like I paid like $100 for a 7-day cruise and used my coupon. But then I got to add the coupon another $125.
Wow.
But they're both. They don't have any single supplement either.
Yeah.
You know what that is? Where they have to pay double.
Yeah.
So they take Norwegian a lot of times. Some of the other cruises do it too, but on this cruise where it's I think in October, nobody wants to go in October to Alaska, so they're allowing people to go in one per cabin. Don't have to pay double. So.
Yeah. Have you ever had to share a cabin with somebody? You ever tried to put?
No, somebody I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's somebody I go with.
But they never tried to make you share with somebody?
Oh, no, nobody ever does that, no.
I know some of the cruise lines, like Royal Caribbean now, has a few cabins where they're designed for singles, smaller bed and everything. But they're tiny, shitty cabins, not very good.
There's those programs that do that, but no, I would never do that, no. I'm not, no, I have a little bit of money. Okay. I'm the guy that goes on a cruise. I don't care where it goes as long as it doesn't cost very much.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Well, it's like I've met people that live on ships permanently. I met a lady on Crystal. We used to call her Mama Lee. And she'd been on there for many, many years, stayed in a suite. She never got off the ship.
Yeah.
She just stayed on the ship, and she liked that because they had the dancing. They had dance hosts there, and she liked to dance before dinner and, before the shows and stuff. And she was like one of the crew.
Yeah.
But
I hear you. I can see how you could do it, but for me, it's like maybe a month on one cruise ship. I've got to get off and get on another.
yeah,
Because as a passenger, you see the same thing over and over again. You get new people every week.
you're right.
Wherever the cruise stops, but you know,
Yeah, I get bored doing the same thing over and over again. I like being on a ship that's going to move around the world. That was like what's so great about the first cruise line I worked for, Royal Viking. You know, I started in Barcelona and ended up 1,000 miles up the Amazon River. You know, so went all over the
well,
place.
that's my favorite cruise is transatlantic,
Yeah.
Barcelona to Florida and back. You know,
Yeah.
that's the best. In the fall, it's always the best cruise. In fact, I think before COVID, it seems like for about it was probably 4 or 5 years before that, I do that cruise every year.
So, here in the Philippines, are you getting bored at all? Are you making friends, or?
I don't make too many friends. I kind of keep to myself. I'm not much into cliques, you know, like I was just telling you. But I keep busy. For a while I was trading stocks, but that didn't seem to be doing well. You know, I know your neighbor Kevin
Yeah.
talks about options, and he's having a lot better luck at it than me. You know, it's.
Yeah, he's told me all about it. It just goes right over my head.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, sure. I'll
sit
introduce you
down.
to him.
But I did that for a while, and then I just I just still do a little bit of it, but not as much. I mostly put it just in.
Well, my friend Julian has a son who's 18 years old. I believe his name is Elvis. And Elvis is trading stocks too and doing this option thing and just doing great with it. You know, and he's a kid, but he's got it all figured out.
Yeah, I really need to talk to him.
Yeah. I'll introduce you to him sometime.
And then the motorcycle, I got, now that I have the Suzuki, it's good for long rides. So I like to do that. You know, I feel like a kid. I mean, I just like I took a 3-hour ride across the mountain, and I'm just, it's just so beautiful. And you're out away from the city, and you don't have the traffic, and the road's winding, and you're just on a motorcycle. And you're not going 70, 80 miles an hour like you would on a freeway in the
like
States.
going 35, 40, 45.
35, 40 miles an hour, and you're just going. I just feel like it's just like heaven, you know.
That's a really good point, because I feel the same way too, especially when I'm out at night. I like driving at night. And I just feel young again.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I'm in my
Exactly,
30s, or my 20s even, and I don't feel old at all when I'm out there. And it's just something about being here just makes you feel. It's not so much you don't feel young, but you don't feel old.
Yeah.
I don't feel old here,
Yeah, and it's nice. I don't know what the difference is. In Utah, I would take I had a big road bike, and I would take it, and you go on the freeway if you want to get somewhere. You're going 80 miles an hour, and in the summer, it's hot and dry.
Yeah.
And so when you get off the motorcycle, you've sweated, and then that sweat is evaporated, and you got this salty crust all over your body, and you just feel kind of cringy. You don't have that here. It's like, I don't know what it is. It doesn't evaporate as fast.
Yeah.
But you're not going that fast, and you're not tired, and it's nice.
Yeah, and it's perfectly safe. You just be cautious when you go through intersections. You see a dog, assume it's going to run in front of you, and just stay away from other riders and bikes. I stay away from everybody, trucks, cars, whatever. I don't get close to anything.
Yeah, you got these crazy people that drive around and they zip in and out of the traffic like crazy, and then the people that drive without lights on at night. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those. Yeah, you got to watch out for them.
Yeah.
But no place is perfect.
I don't like riding at night as much. You might like it. I don't like it. So I'll leave the bike home unless I have to. I don't go at night.
So one question I've been asking most of my recent guests on the show, especially older people, is in your lifetime, what's the worst thing you ever had to go through? The hardest thing you ever had to get through? You think about it like you say, God, I'm so glad I got through that I survived that I made it through that.
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Yeah.
So having I had a toddler daughter, and I had an ex-wife that accused me of sexually molesting her. So I had to go through that.
Oh gosh.
I had to get polygraphed and everything, and she's just a vindictive, a bad person. So yeah, it was hard to get through. Trying to put me in jail and stuff. So yeah. So,
that's terrible.
Yeah. It's probably the hardest.
Now, do you still see your daughter? Still contact with her?
Oh yeah, talked to her just before I got here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You think she'll ever come here and visit you?
Oh yeah, I'll have her come visit me. She's in University of Utah right now. Her last year. I think she starts her last year in August. So.
What's she studying?
Teacher, elementary school teacher.
Okay.
Which scares me, the way the teachers are treated nowadays by the kids.
Yeah,
But as
all
long
the
as-
stuff going on, these shootings in schools and stuff, and jeez.
Yeah, hopefully she won't be teaching, teenagers. Hopefully to stay with the young kids.
Yeah, that's a tough job being a teacher. So, on another note, in your life, when you look back on it, like, what's like one of the best decisions you've ever made in your whole life? You think, well, I'm so glad I decided to do that instead of doing this.
Let's see, I think there was two things. There was when I was 32, I went back to college. I remember I was just walking to my first class. I about turned around and went back because I felt out of place being 32, which doesn't seem that big a deal now.
And so you think how old you are at 32, and like, how would you love to be 32
I
again?
thought I was an old man going to college.
Yeah, I remember when I
All
turned
these-
30, I was depressed.
all these
Oh
19,
God, I'm
20
30.
years old.
Ah.
So that, and then the other one was just starting a business.
Yeah.
I thought it was so complicated. I didn't know how to do it, but but by that time I had a college degree, and I had a little more confidence in myself. But just starting it and staying with it. Just those two things. I think starting the business probably changed my life, because if I didn't start the business, I would have still been working for somebody. I'd still been spending all the money I made before I got it, and I'd have nothing. So.
Well, what was your decision to just decide to retire? Just all of a sudden, was it because you turned 62 or 65, or you just like?
I was going to wait till I was to my retirement age, which would have been
70.
last December. 66 and 4 months was my full
Okay.
retirement age, and that would have been December. So I think I retired a couple of years sooner, because of COVID.
Oh yeah.
I had a house. What happened was like I said, I was telling you, I was kind of, I called it leapfrogging houses. I'd build a house for 2 years, and then I'd live in it, and then build another house for 2 years. Then I'd move into the new house and sell the house I lived in. And as long as I lived in it 2 of the previous 5 years, I didn't have to pay tax on it. And so I was doing that, and I when COVID hit, I had a foundation poured, and I was waiting for lumber. And the lumber prices came in, it doubled. And so I said, I'm going to go to Mexico for the winter. I'll come back and start it in the spring. When I came back and started in the spring, it doubled again.
Wow.
And so
Double.
it
Gosh.
doubled again. I had a brand new, less than a year old 2020 GMC AT4 pickup, top of the line type thing, and a 42-foot diesel pusher motorhome. Sold them both, sold the foundation, sold everything. So I had a storage unit with tons of tools and everything. Sold everything. I said, I'm done. And just
Wow.
Sold everything.
So you've got nothing in storage back in America?
I got a little storage unit that's I think it's 6 by 6, and that's when I go down and see my daughter. We're gonna go down and I'm gonna see if
Yeah, I
she'll
got a
take.
little one too. I got to sort out when I get back.
Just got some TVs and some little hand tools, but nothing big.
So you have no regrets at all, and like no second thoughts about coming here, or?
No, not at all. No, I don't. With what's going on in the States, I don't want anything to do. I don't care. But I mean, look at it. The inflation's gone up so high. All the things that are going on. I'm thinking this. I just don't want to. I don't want to have to.
It seems stressful to be there, and
Yeah.
like
want to
all the
deal with it.
animosity that's floating around.
Exactly. Yeah. Just go down. Just enjoy life. And just let somebody else worry about it. So.
Yeah. I wake up every day here just feeling first grateful that I'm even here and I've got the life that I've got, but I just don't have any stress, and it's so nice not to have any stress, and I have so many friends and nice people to talk to, and it's just, it's really good.
Yeah. Well, you've had a lot harder than I have. I mean, you've had to find a way to earn money,
Yeah.
and I have a retirement, and a pension, so I don't really, there's no worries for me. I can go pretty much anywhere. So
That's good.
So it's like a dream life. I never would have thought it, 10 years ago I'd have this, but
It always makes me feel like I made the right decision when I meet someone like you who is financially stable and could go anywhere and do anything they wanted, and you chose to be the same place that I'm at.
yeah.
And I've met a lot of guys who have been all over the Philippines. They've been everywhere, and they've been to Thailand and Malaysia, Cambodia, and they decided also that of all those places they like it best here. Is it perfect? No, but it's just like the Cinderella thing, or the Goldilocks thing. It's like it was just perfect, you know, for what you want. And for me, it's just been great, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy I ended up, you know, in this general area on this island.
Yeah, yeah. I think you get to where, you know, we have all this stuff, and then you look at it and think, well, does it make me happy? You know, the new truck, I remembered, oh, this is great, man, this is so great. And then the insurance payments, you know, even though I paid cash, the insurance payments were so much, and you know, it just gets you from one place to another.
Yeah.
You know, just because it has the heads-up display in the windshield, or you know, the heated seats or air-conditioned seats, you know, you're kind of going, do you really need it? You know, it just gets you from one place to another. You don't need it, you know, so it's like,
Yeah, with cars, it's like it's really great that first like week.
exactly. Yeah.
You get out of Walmart, you park it in the way back so nobody scratches it, you know, and you walk into the store and you look back, oh, that's my truck, that's my car, you know. And then, you know, a couple
Exactly,
couple years later, like, oh shit, you know,
Yeah, you come out at the store and somebody's pushed a cart
Yeah.
into the side of the
it's all
door.
dirty. I got to go wash it. I'll just leave it.
Even with the motorcycle, you know, I think it's, even though it's one of the cheapest motorcycles you can get, you know, I drive it out and it gets in the water and muddy and everything. Oh crap! I gotta wash it. It's like it's nice to have somebody just wash it, but yeah, it's just get you from one place to another. You don't need anything.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys. I get messages and emails all the time, almost every day, and they're basically a prisoner of their possessions.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, they've got all this stuff. You know, if they have a house, they have to pay for the house to keep
Yeah.
the stuff in. And a lot of the stuff is like it's in their garage or it's in a storage locker, and they'll never see it. They're going to die, and they're never going to even touch or look at the things that are in the back of that garage.
Yeah,
You
and then all the other stuff is that you have to maintain it. So you know,
Yeah.
and I'm the guy that wants to do everything myself. So I'm like maintaining the motorhome, I'm maintaining the truck, I'm maintaining
Yeah.
the motorcycle, and then doing everything on the house. It's like, oh my God, you have no time to live. And so get rid of it all, and then just do what you want. And
Yeah, total freedom.
yeah, it's great.
Something else that a lot of guys, a lot of men have been telling me, not just Americans, but Australia, England, is that when you hit a certain age, like say 50s and up, that, you know, you walk around, you know, wherever it is that you live, and it's like you're invisible. It's like people don't even notice you. You're like, you know, you're like a non-entity. You walk into a store, nobody even looks at you, you know, you go to a restaurant, they don't even notice you're sitting at the table, and you're just kind of ignored. And here in the Philippines, they respect older people. Like, I remember the first time I went to Jollibee's in the mall, and there's lines of people, and the security guard came over and got me and put me in another line, in a priority line.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have to wait in line. Same thing at the bank. They get in front of the line because you're an older person. And they respect older people here. And I was at a friend of mine's house not long ago, and his children and his friends were off for lunch, and they all came home. These are like 12 to 15-year-olds, like maybe 6 or 7 kids. And they all came in the house to have their lunch. And we're sitting there in the kitchen, me and their father, and they all came up to me one at a time and took my hand and put it to their forehead
Yeah.
and told me what their name was. You know, so polite and respectful.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't know who I was. You know, and it was just really touching. You know, that there's
It's
a whole.
happened, it's happened to me too. a few
Yeah,
times.
it's really touching the first time somebody does that to you. You go, wow. You know.
Yeah, it's a lot different. You know, you go to pay the water bill or something, and you know, there's a line for you. The power bill, there's a line for you. You know, you have to
Yeah.
wait. And you see these the Philippine people, they're in a line. There might be 30, 40 in a line, and like you said, the guard will come up. So you sit here.
Yeah.
You know, you're next.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, oh my gosh, I don't want to get ahead of these people. But no, they want you to.
Yeah, and they accept it. Yeah.
They respect the seniors here.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have that in the States. You know.
Well, another thing is that they actually, you know, the Philippine government, you know, in my opinion, you know, it's just my opinion, but they want us here. They like
yeah.
us being here. Like when you go down to immigration, I've been here for, like, first time I was down, I've been here for 3 years, and they said, well, you know, you've been here 3 years, so the rule is you have to leave the country and come back in. So you can just go to Malaysia if you want and just get back on the plane and come here. You could go to Thailand for a couple of days. And they're giving me all these suggestions, knowing that I want to live here the rest of my life, and like they're helping me. Like I said, yeah, it's just you can renew your tourist visa, and then now that you're married, you can do a 13A visa, and you know, giving me all these options, like, you know, very nice to me. And instead of like saying, well, what are you doing here? Why are you here? You know, and you know, giving me the third degree, it's like they're very welcoming, and you know, you feel like, and everywhere you go, like people don't look at you like, you know, you're a stranger or something. They might look at you with curiosity, but they just like accept that we're here, you know. And everywhere you go, you just feel accepted. Even if you're, I go to parties at Filipinas houses where they're all Filipinas. They got the roast pig and everything, and everybody's there, and they just accept that I'm there, you know, and just
it's good.
welcome me.
It's good hearing it, but you got to. The way I look at it, almost everywhere you go out of the United States, it's that way.
This is a very good point. I mean, I've been up to over 100 countries, and I'd say 99% of the places I've been, the people are nice.
Yeah, they go out of their way for you.
They go out of their way for you. They just, they're just friendly people. I mean, all they want is a roof over their head, the kids to be safe, you know, and basic needs, and they're just, you know, nice people like everywhere.
Yeah, I think Philippines maybe more than most.
Yeah, more than
most of them, but yeah, most like Panama and Mexico, you know, they like it. They know that you're bringing dollars in, you know, to help their economy. So.
Well, America and Mexico are very close to each other too, as far as, you know, economy and stuff, and working together and stuff. Same with Canada. Well, anyway, I really appreciate you sharing your story with me, and I'm so envious. I mean, the guy from Utah, my favorite state, the guy who's going on all these cruises. I haven't been on a ship in years, and I really miss just being out there. Something about when that ship pulls away and you're heading out into the ocean. I just love that.
I think you'll be on a cruise in maybe another year, because that's when they start up again over here in Southeast Asia, and there'll probably be a lot of deals coming, I think.
It's like, no, there's nothing better than taking a walk around the deck at night or in the morning or whenever, you know, and you're at sea. I just love that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you so much. I wish you all the best. Hope I get to know you better, you know, over the next, you know, several years or so.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Bye.